Easily the most interesting topic from One Piece chapter 977 is Kaido's son. Initially, when I was reacting to the chapter, I actually missed it. I missed that exact panel where Kaido said, or he asked the question, will his son show up? When you first read a statement like that, several thoughts run through your mind. Like, Kaido has a son? What does this mean for the future of One Piece? Because my mind started just wondering. We know Shanks has a son, Whitebeard and his kids, Big Mom has so many. Is this a sign of the future for One Piece and the Yonko? Will Luffy have kids before the end of One Piece? Going off the deep end. But let's bring it back a little. Kaido has a son, but I have several questions. The theory going around is that Kaido's actual son is Weevil, and Weevil thinks Whitebeard is his dad, but his actual dad is Kaido. It explains his monstrous strength, his enormous size, etc, etc. I like throwing theories out there for you guys to understand like what's going on, because I know some of you guys, you read One Piece and you just go about your day, you don't pay attention to forums or Twitter or Instagram, none of that. So when you hear some of these things, you're like, what the hell are people thinking about? Like, there's no way Weevil is his son. So just try to bring you guys into like my world and what I hear every day or see every day. One Piece chapter 973, when Kaido had Momonosuke in his grasp, a lot of people felt like Kaido should have killed Momonosuke then. He even said that with Momonosuke's death, that's the end of the Kozuki clan. And of course we know what happens. He throws Momonosuke into the castle, Momonosuke doesn't die, and it leads to where we are now, where Kaido has to go against the Alliance, which he's probably going to lose to, which all could have been eradicated if he had killed Momonosuke back then. We assume. But I think that's a significant moment, especially in regards to Kaido's son. Kaido asked Momonosuke his name. He then acknowledged that his father is a great warrior. He called his father a fool as well. But then Kaido also said, I didn't realize you were so young. And he mentioned the dream of someone else that Momonosuke was talking about. And then he decided not to kill him by his own hand. Of course, per usual, I read really deep into it and then probably thought about, Kaido's connection to Odin and how he felt about kids. Could Momonosuke and Kaido's son be the same age? Of course, Momonosuke, he jumped into the future, so he's not as old as he would be normally. But Kaido said, I didn't realize he was so young. Could the reason that Kaido couldn't have killed Momonosuke was because his son was the same age or around the same age? Did Momonosuke remind him of his own child? There are several ways to look at this, right? So I'm trying to come in from a logical angle as far as Kaido's son, like what makes the most sense. For me, I think knowing Oda, Kaido being this wonderful warrior, this battle hardened, this risk taker, Kaido's son could be Helmeppo, in which he does not live up to the hype of what his father expects. He pales in comparison to his father's history, just like Momonosuke did with Odin. It could be a coming of age moment for Kaido's kid. Maybe Kaido's kid is what the Alliance needs to kind of shift the tide to their favor, because right now it is still overwhelmingly in Kaido's and Big Mom's favor. I'm not saying strength-wise, but mostly intel and just resources, right? This could bring about an important moment for Kaido, Momonosuke, and whomever his son is. Because I think the easy route is if Kaido's son is, Raido or something, and he's as strong as Kaido, or like a young Kaido, probably more reckless, the heir to the throne, right? That's the easy way to go about it. So that's why I think Oda would go the route of having him be, the guy that can't quite live up to his dad. I think that's a real topic that you can cover because Momonosuke, he's dealing with that. And if Kaido's son is dealing with that, Momonosuke is dealing with that, it could be a way for them to connect, and then they can overcome Kaido, the shadow of Kaido, together. But then this brings about a bunch of questions. Because like Luffy, when we found out who his dad was, the next question was immediately, who's his mom? So I think for Kaido, now he has a son, people are asking the question, well, who the hell is the mother? And that leads us to another section. As far as Kaido, and there's several theories floating around about whomever the mom is and who the actual kid is, right? But first, is this Kaido's biological son, right? That's a question here. Is it in the vein of Whitebeard, where Whitebeard had several sons and they weren't actually his kids, but he viewed them as his child? Is it someone Kaido took on his wing and he calls him his kid? Is it somebody we know? There's several questions here to be answered. Another thing is that we might have already seen Kaido's son. Back in chapter 675, all around the New World, they were watching Caesar's experiment. Back in Punk Hazard, Smiley, and we saw someone who looks like he could have been a member of the Beast Pirates. Now, if you go to chapter 692, that character actually speaks and says he will go and inform Jack. So that confirms he's a member of the Beast Pirates. The only thing though, this person could be Sheepshead. Completely different design, but Oda could have changed Sheepshead design a bit later. But this could be a hint of Kaido's son. In In the official, there are no honorifics used when he addresses Jack or anything like Sheepshead did, so this could be a different character. The popular theory, right? And I've made memes about it. I've posted it on Instagram and Twitter because there's the popular theory of Kaido being the father of Daifuku, Katakuri, and Oven. They're triplets, so that's why I mentioned all three. And that's the running thing. People are sold on the fact that Katakuri is the son of Kaido. The flashback also added to it because several aesthetic moments with Kaido, he was dressed like Katakuri. The leather pants, the vest, the rocker vibe. He had the aesthetic of Katakuri. So a lot of people were like, that has to be his kid. And of course, you go back to Rocks and Big Mom and Kaido, they spend time together. What does Kaido owe Big Mom? People are saying, well, Big Mom actually had 4 kids. Kaido was able to keep one of them, and that's the debt he has to repay. And of course, it sounds logical. It makes a ton of sense. When you look at Oven, Daifuku, and Katakuri, you can see features from all of them, and it matches up to Kaido. People have done this, right? I think years ago, when we first saw Katakuri, we started making theories about who Big Mom was with, and the obvious person was Kaido. They spent time together. Kaido owed her something. Logically, who else could it be? And I was on board. I was definitely on board on the Katakuri is Kaido's son train. Until Oda did an interview with some YouTubers, a famous YouTube channel in Japan called Fishers, right? And this was translated by the Library of Ohara. Arthur does a great job of translating, and he's a very credible source, so he did an interview with Fisher. This kind of went under the radar, but one of the questions asked in this interview was about Big Mom, Kaido, and children. So the question they asked was, Oven, Daifuku, and Katakuri, are they Big Mom and blank's children? Arthur does point out that it's censored in the original video, where they provided empty slots, and the slots provided matched Kaido's name, and it fits the number of spots in Japanese. So it's not confirmed, but it's heavily hinted that the person they would ask is about Kaido. Back then, who else could it be? This was back in 2019. So the person one would assume they're asking about is Kaido. And Oda says incorrect. And the group says, well, I was so certain. And then Oda says, isn't it better that the audience don't hear about that? So based off of that, it's not 100% confirmed that Kaido isn't the father of Katakuri, Oven, and Daifuku, but it's heavily hinted that that's not the case. The fact that Oda also said to keep it a secret could mean he's ready to throw a twist in there, or maybe they were onto something and he just lied. He didn't want to reveal that yet. Maybe he didn't think it was that obvious that Kaido was the father of Katakuri, Oven, and Daifuku. I mean, to me, it makes a lot of sense if he is, but of course, knowing Oda and that being the popular theory, Oda has said that he's changed different things in the story because it was a popular theory and people guessed it, so he went a different route. So for this being noticed by this popular YouTube channel in Japan, let's say he did plan on making Kaido's son Katakuri or Oven and Daifuku as well, he could change it. He could definitely change it. So I wanted to point this out because people were asking me like, why are you saying that Oda talked about it? I didn't hear anything about it. In this interview, it was addressed in a roundabout way. You can take it for what it's worth. Personally, I think this is Oda pretty much saying Kaido isn't the dad. I would love if it was, because if Katakuri is a kid, it adds more relevance to Katakuri's character, because I think Katakuri could have an important role post Wano, but that's a separate topic for another day. Another theory was that Kaido was talking about Daifuku, right? Because a lot of people are dead set on Kaido being the father of Daifuku, Katakuri, and Oven. So they're saying Kaido's asking if Daifuku is going to show his face at the banquet, because of course Daifuku is with Big Mom, he's a triplet, he's one of the kids, so that could be an interesting scenario. Personally, I would love if it was Katakuri. If it was, it would then make me very upset, because I think if you have Big Mom and Kaido and they have children, just sheer genetics and how that shit works, 1 out of the 3 should be just so immensely powerful, it is insane. Now granted, Katakuri is very strong. We still don't have him in the upper echelon of the One Piece verse. And I think with those genetics, someone like that should be goddamn devastating. And Katakuri was very strong, but he wasn't devastating. But you know, this is One Piece. I don't want to read too much into it, but that's exactly what we do here, so I'm going to read too much into it. So if you have the kid of Kaido and Big Mom, I don't care who the fuck Luffy's mom is, he should not beat Katakuri. Granted, this is a shonen, Luffy's the main character, I get it. And this is me fanboying over Katakuri because I enjoy him as a character. But if you have those genetics, what the fuck? I think this is a very fun topic, who the son of Kaido is, and Oda throwing it in there right before break sucks. And I don't even think we get the answer once we come off of break, just because that's how Oda operates. He's gonna tease us until about chapter 1000 or something. Then we see a fucking kid walk out. Or if we see Katakuri comes back to Wano, that would be, oh my god. I think the community would explode if Katakuri is back in Wano, just because of how much of a fan favorite he is now. But I think the Weevil thing is interesting. I don't believe that though. I think it would be cool if it's a different character we haven't seen before, and if he's around Momonosuke's age or how old Momonosuke would be now, which then adds some more depth to what Kaido did back then, not killing Momonosuke. Guys, give me your thoughts. Give me all your thoughts and theories. I think I'm going to have fun with it, and I will make a video talking about if Katakuri is Kaido's son, doubling down on that theory and stating what the implications of that would be. So give me your thoughts. Who do you think Kaido's son is? What do you expect from him? What do you think his name is going to be? I've been running with Raido. I don't know why. Something also quickly on the father-son relationships in One Piece. I guess looking at it, they're not all terrible. I mean, if you look at, but I think the ones that are great are the ones in which they're not biologically their kid. Like the Don and Luffy and Ace. I guess even Garp and Luffy and Ace. Garp is his granddad, but Hilaluk and Chopper, Whitebeard and his kids. The biological fathers that we've seen with Dragon and Luffy, Roger and Ace. And of course, they're not terrible dads. They're just not there. And of course, Roger, he couldn't really help it. Sanji and Judge, Dofi and his dad. There's some pretty bad relationships there. Nico Robin's dad was absent. Nami's an orphan. Frankie was left behind. It's a weird thing with dads in One Piece. I'm trying to think of a positive story with a dad and a son. But I don't know, guys. Give me your thoughts. What do you think? Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BraggoDAce and follow me on Instagram, BraggoD.Ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Guys, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you again. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.